Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey, it's Jim Chapman reminding you that if you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. 1, it's free. 2, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. 3, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's really everything you need to make a podcast in only one place. It makes it easy, folks. So do me a favor, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, this is Tiffany Seacard with Home Key Mortgage, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Every business owner has a story. Let Jim Chapman tell yours.
If many of you are like me, the daily task of checking the mail can almost get to the point of aggravating. You reach in the mailbox, pull out a stack of mail as thick as a phone book, and as you sift through the endless flyers and ads, you find 2 pieces of mail that may actually be useful. There is one exception to this for me and probably for you, and if you've lived in Livingston Parish since 2013, you may recognize this. So, this is Go Pages Magazine. Go Pages is my exception to your average junk mail. It contains valuable coupons to some of the best local businesses in the Livingston Parish area, and owner Michael Joyce is here to tell us all about that and a whole lot more. So with that, welcome, Michael, to Local Leaders, the podcast.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of your circular, I guess you'd call it, magazine?
Direct mail magazine.
There you go. So before we jump into your direct mail magazine, I want to give everyone a little history on you. You're a father of 2 high school daughters?
Yes, I have 2 beautiful daughters. They go to Live Oak, sophomore and senior this coming up here.
Live Oak.
Live Oak Eagles.
The Eagles. I'm not going to say go Jackets on
That's
this
all right. That's
episode.
All right.
So as far as hobbies, you're an outdoor guy, right?
Pretty much. If it involves being outside, I'm there. It started a long time ago when I was a kid, wandered off in the woods. My parents were like, where is he? And they point over there. Fishing, hunting, golf, landscape. It's kind of grew up in that. I like to cook.
Yeah.
I read, continue to learn that kind of stuff. But if it involves outside, I want to be there.
Awesome. So, yeah, you're a Louisiana guy, it sounds like. Heat don't bother you. You want to get out there and fish and do all that.
I don't know about the heat. This week's been pretty rough.
Oh, it has, man. It's been extremely hot this week. So I'm an outdoors guy, too. Love to be in the outdoors, and golfing is my thing. I love to golf, but I don't have any time for it.
Hoping to get crank back up in that soon. I've taken a little hiatus from that.
Yeah. So salespeople know salespeople, Michael.
Yes.
From the time I met you several years ago, I knew you were a sales guy. You got a very early start on your sales career, actually at the age of 10.
At the age of 10.
So you were a young buck. Tell me about all that.
Man, it was my father. He was one of the co-creators of. There was if you go to the coin-op car washes, which by the way are beginning to go away, but you go to the coin-op car washes, there used to be a big yellow box. And it was called Car Fresh, and this is where you go. You put your coins in there, and you spray cherry or vanilla leather or whatever scent into your car. Right. Well, it used to be a big box, and they were, like I said, my father was one of the co-founders, and they were promoting this product at the conventions around the country. And at the time, I was small enough where I could get inside and actually work on the pumps, the pneumatics part of the pumps.
Yeah.
So their stick was, look, here's a 10-year-old kid that can fix this. That's how simple the process, how the motoring and all the valves and everything work. This 10-year-old kid could do it. So they would take me to these shows in Vegas, Chicago, Atlanta, wherever, Dallas, Houston, and I'd be part of their show. I guess I was the monkey kind of guy.
Great idea.
So I'd crawl up in there and show them how easy it was to fix the stuff. So that's when it really started for me.
Yeah, and you learned, I'm sure, valuable lessons in sales at that age that you didn't even realize you were learning.
I didn't even know I was doing it. I was just showing them. It was a matter of just being there and learning from the people. I mean, obviously the gentlemen that were there with my father and the other people, you pick up things. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So eventually, way beyond that, it led you to the world of pharmaceutical sales.
Indeed. Right? I started, I guess, it's around 85.
Yeah.
And was in that field for quite some time. Actually moved to New Orleans in 91 to help resurrect the company that was pretty much going by the wayside.
Yeah.
Stayed in that market for a while and learned an interesting lesson in that what was happening in the pharmaceutical industry around early 2000s and left that field into Yellow Pages.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we leave your field of pharmaceutical, competitive market, right? That's
very much.
Pharmaceutical sales is, but you got to be on the top of your game to be a pharmaceutical sales rep. Got to be a pretty sharp person, male or female.
Correct.
And certainly competitive. So I would imagine, that further honed your sales skills, and some of that's just natural. I get asked all the time, are salesmen born or are they made? I think that you can train anybody to be a salesperson, but to be at the top of the sales profession, there's something there that I don't think you can kind of teach. I think people are kind of born with it.
I guess it's the development of your surroundings as you're growing up. I don't believe you're born with back in the day, a briefcase,
Yeah.
Just like Michael Jordan wasn't born with a basketball in his hand.
That's right.
It helps if you're an extrovert.
Yeah.
There's a confidence if typically if you're playing sports and you're involved in team type of endeavors, it helps. And it kind of builds a mentality for you.
Sure.
The key to it to me though is helping people. You need to have that in your heart and in your gut.
100%. That's a good point, man. Yeah. That's a good point. And I know some pretty successful salespeople that they don't like the term salesperson. They like the term problem solver. And I like it too. And that is the way I look at it. And it's what you do. I mean, you're working with small businesses now and even, bigger than small businesses. And you're solving some sort of problem they have. Maybe they're trying to get more people in their door and you're bringing them an option to do that. So, I fully believe that we all as salespeople are problem solvers in the end. William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now, in 2002, you did work for the Yellow Pages, as you mentioned, another highly competitive field, right?
Very, very much so.
How valuable was your pharmaceutical sales experience, when you took that job with Yellow Pages?
Interestingly enough, when I had taken a period of time off after the pharmaceutical industry, field, and I was looking for the next position in that field, and it just, after about 6 months, I was like, I need to do something to stay sharp, and so I just interviewed with it's actually Sunshine Pages, it was an e-tail company at the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
e-tail.
They actually, after I found this out after a little while, they were concerned about hiring me because they didn't see pharmaceutical sales. It's more marketing, all right? They didn't see pharmaceutical sales as being what they were looking for in the day-to-day sales of Yellow Pages, because it's it's different. The training is entirely different. It's probably some of the best training that any salesperson will ever get. Absolutely. It's very, very intense. As a matter of fact, later in my career with them, one of the tasks that I was asked to do was to revamp the entire training process, because our training process was about 2 to 3 weeks, and then field work, and then come back in. And so we had to. That was one of the things that took a while. To revamp that for sure.
I can imagine, and and that's a feather in your cap that when they task somebody with that, I'm sure it's somebody they believe in. It's somebody they know can come up with a process that may be better for their business. And so that was a feather in your cap there, especially when they, originally they were struggling as to whether to hire you.
Yeah, they started me as I remember they started me as just an associate level rep. And then after about 3 months, they promoted me to a senior level rep.
Yeah.
And then started talking to me after about a year. They started talking to me about other positions, right?
Right.
And we had Katrina, which we don't want to go into that, but they transferred me I was working in Abita Springs at the time, and they transferred me over here to work in the Baton Rouge market as a master level sales rep. And then I guess about 6 months later, they asked me if I wanted to manage the office. Like, okay, we can do that. And then about a year later, they asked me if I wanted to be a regional and cover everything from Lafayette to Hammond to Houma. And so it was I could call it the ascension, I guess, was pretty quick, pretty rapid.
Gotcha.
With that company. And then I guess a couple of years after that, it was director of sales operations and marketing. So.
Wow. So you really just went up the ladder. And how long were you at Yellow Pages?
11 years.
11 years. That's a good stint.
Yeah. I've worked in pharmaceuticals. I was there in that industry for 17 and then 11. So I'm not the guy that, I'm not the 2 year and out guy at all. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it 100%.
Absolutely. Well, and that kind of leads me to my next little topic, and that is at some point, you were successful where you were at Yellow Pages. I'm sure you were doing well monetarily and all of those sorts of things. And even through all of that, at some point you decided to go out on your own, right? And open your own business.
I did. I had been, as we all know, Yellow Pages isn't the industry that it was by any means. And, I had started looking for options. I guess probably around 2007, 2008, I'd really started looking at, okay, this isn't going to last forever. We could see the writing was on the wall. And, I started looking and toying with, what would be my next steps? What would I want to do? And interesting that one of the last positions that I had there, my responsibility was to find or create products that we could transition print revenue into digital revenue.
Yeah.
And I actually uncovered this company in Texas, and they were a small independent directory company, and they had started closing down their print directories. I mean, if you remember Well, the Yellow Pages in Baton Rouge used to be about that thick.
Oh, yeah.
And the one in Denham was about that thick. Well, the one we just got
Yeah.
that they're required to do by the FCC
Yeah.
is about like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of the revenue's going away. But anyway.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, before you move on, you started in 2002. So in 2002, the internet was around, but it was in its infancy compared to where it is today.
Correct.
And so, obviously, as time progresses, you know, people just don't use the phone book like they used to. You want a phone number? What do? You Google it. That's what we all do.
Pretty much.
And for those folks out there that are younger that might be listening, phone books is how me and Michael used to find things. I mean, that's how, you know, we used road maps. We didn't have navigation phones. And so that from that aspect, you kind of saw that coming is what you say. You
Pretty
can
much.
kind of see the writing on the wall with that, hey, this stuff's all going online. And while Yellow Pages can go online, it's an extra step somebody has to take versus just Googling it. Right?
Correct.
So,
Exactly. So
yeah. So you found Go Pages.
I did. I found the company that had created Go Pages.
Okay.
And actually did a lot of research on them, and for months actually. And I was actually prepared to make a presentation to recommend that product. And my career came to an abrupt end with the Yellow Pages. So, you know, I'm sitting there wondering, okay, because I've been thinking all along, I need to do something. I want to do something. I'm standing on the edge of the cliff, right?
Right.
And I actually got a foot in the rear, and so it's time to fly. And I had this book of research, and picked up the phone, called them, and said, hey, look, you know, let's talk about this. And I actually had an idea of recreating it myself over here. Mm-hmm. And as I met with them and we talked in detail, they actually came to Baton Rouge. We spent all day, you know, and talking about things. It just made sense because they had, at that point in time, they already had almost 10 years of experience with, you know, fine tuning the secret sauce of this, of how the magazine works.
Sure.
Why recreate the wheel? It's not always necessary to recreate the wheel. So, you know, we sat down, we talked, and we came to we came to an agreement, actually an arrangement, and you know, I actually went to Flower Mound, which is just outside of Dallas, which is where they're located, and met with them and signed on the dotted line.
Marriage made in heaven at that point.
Pretty much.
So you do it, right? You're sold on the product, rather than reinvent the wheel, as you said. You say, hey, I've got some support already here. They've already done all this, and I can just bring it to my community. You do that, and boom, now you've got a magazine with no advertisers.
Yeah, you know, actually the once we decided on everything, got the territory defined and whatnot, they handed me a stack of the magazines that they had been publishing in Texas. Yeah. And I remember the very first day I went up 16 to the north part of, north of Watson, and I just started walking down the street, knocking on doors, introducing the idea, the concept of what was going to happen. And I think that first day I probably saw 30, 35 people that first day.
Wow, that's a good day of calls.
And I set up. That was on a Monday, and I set up, I think, 12 appointments to present in more detail.
Yeah.
Because usually when I first go in there, all I'm doing is introducing the product.
Yeah, you're giving information.
Yeah, setting up an
who
appointment.
you are and what you do.
We're not. That's not a sales call at all.
Yeah.
And my first appointment was on a Wednesday morning. That Wednesday, and actually it was Tutti Frutti in Watson and Rick Patel, and we wrote it up.
There you go. First customer. You're like, man, this is easy.
I don't know about easy, but it was fun, because that's the cool thing about one of the cool things about it is just you get to meet so many different people in the community, and you get to learn about so many different kinds of businesses. I mean, I may meet a yogurt shop owner, and then I may meet an automobile repair guy, and then I may spend some time with a dentist, then I may talk to a podcast person, you know, and then I'm going to talk to a florist, then I'm going to talk to a dry cleaner. So you get to learn all different kinds of businesses, the businesses themselves, but you also get to learn those people and how they handle situations.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it sounds like you have a genuine interest in people and their business, and so it's not, I just want to sell you something. No. You know, you're forming relationships, yes, right? And, absolutely. And we'll get into that a little later and how some of these relationships you've had for a long, long time, which to me, longevity always equals something's working, you know, right? So Tutti Frutti went ahead and rolled the dice and went with Go Pages, and I'm sure we're very happy with that. Now, what is your territory? What territory do you cover?
The magazine is actually mailed to Denham Springs, Watson, and Walker zip codes, the 707, 2606, and 85 zip codes. It spills a little into Livingston, the 5-4.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the territory. So if it's a business, if it's a locally owned business or franchise, it's in those market areas. Mm-hmm. You know, they're obviously a potential client and
sure,
somebody that I want to work with, or if they're serving that community.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's something. I mean, over the last number of years, we have, you know, become more and more self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't need to go other places to get services or things that we need.
Yeah.
So, and that's continuing to develop and continuing to grow, which is great.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal for us here. But you know, if it's a locally owned business in those 3 zip codes, or someone that's serving the populace in that market area, you know, those are
definitely people you want to talk to.
Definitely.
Now, how many residences, I guess you could say, and businesses does this magazine roughly?
Okay. The magazine is mailed to 40,000 homes and businesses. So in those 3 zip codes, there's approximately 1,850 premise businesses. In other words, they have a front door, right? Mm-hmm. So they all get it. And then there's also approximately 2,200 to 2,400 home-based businesses, right? Mm-hmm. So they're getting it as well. The remainder, so if you look at it this way, so there's 1,850 businesses, and then the rest of it goes to residences.
Gotcha.
So the home-based businesses are getting it, as well as in their business. Yeah,
no doubt about it. And that's a good number of people seeing, you know, your ad, whatever that may be, mm-hmm, and you getting your name out there with Go Pages. Now, Go Pages has their hands in a lot of things. Y'all do web design, digital marketing, but I think it's fair to say what they're known for most is their magazine, their Go Pages magazine. Now, what stands out to me most is, as we discussed earlier, the good bit of folks in here that you could have picked up this magazine in 2013 and looked through it, and probably 50% of the people in here were in here in 2013. You know, when I look at success in advertising, what I look for is what we would call re-ups. They're people who continue to advertise over and over again with the same business. BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders. So, you know, there was a time when I worked for another company that, as cheap as they were, when it came to advertising, I was trying to push and get them to do some local advertising. And that was one of the things I looked for when I met with Michael was, well, how many people have been in here since 2013, since 2016? You know, pick a date. And I was blown away because he actually has a magazine from, it was either his first printing or one of his first printings. And he was like, look, here's, you know, this company way back then, here's this company today.
Correct.
and they never stopped. So if something never stops, it's working. So if you have a question on advertising with GoPages and whether it works, let Michael show you. He can actually pull those magazines out. Now, another thing I'll say is coupon advertising, in my opinion, is probably the best advertising you could ever do. Why? Because it's the easiest way to prove if it's working. Something comes back to you. You know that somebody saw it and wanted to use it with your establishment, and you're getting it back. So you can track it, I guess would be another word, better than any other way. There's some other ways to track other forms of advertising, online with clicks and things like that. But when you get a coupon back, that person spent money, right? They came in and they spent money.
That's correct.
And so that's more valuable than a click to me. So now another thing I'll say with your market being what it is, Livingston Parish has grown since 2013, has it not?
Most definitely. It's actually, the Livingston Parish and a few other areas in the state have been on the radar for the fastest growing areas of Louisiana for a very long time. And actually, they rank nationally as well. So it's continuing. It was on a fast pace. We had a little setback in 16, which we don't want to talk about that too much. But it's continuing. It's roaring back. And I mean, if you just look at the number of new rooftops, that will tell you what's happening.
That's right. And look, retail sales. I talked to the mayor of Denham Springs just the other day, and sales tax dollars are way up right now, 20-something% over last year, which I know we're all thinking, well, they had COVID last year. But, oh, no, sales taxes were up even last year during COVID. So that's kind of an example there of the growth of this parish. So, man, you made kind of the right moves at the right time. You came in 2013 when Livingston Parish was really kind of taking off, and so those businesses were coming here, which I would imagine is a lifeblood of your business. You've got to have businesses coming in all the time, right? And growth, very important.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously a new business coming into the market area, they need to create awareness. They need to create a buzz for their message. Whatever type of business it may be. So, they're obviously someone that I'm interested in helping. But at the same time, their business has been here for a very, very long time. Yeah. And they're actually, I can remember in the first edition that I did, there were some clients that obviously had been here for quite some time. And I remember having the conversation with them after the fact of customers coming in saying, man, I forgot y'all were here.
Yeah.
And being in the magazine just kind of opened their eyes and gave them like a little shot to, hey, look, we haven't gone anywhere. We're still here. You might not remember us, but we're here. And so it's not just new businesses, but yes, they're definitely a lifeblood.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about in the past from a business owner's perspective, obviously business owners want to cut costs where they can, and some of these folks run a tight budget and some of them are just tight in general. and so advertising sometimes plays on the wrong side of that equation. They think that's where they should cut or whatever, because it's kind of a controllable expense versus like labor, which you can control somewhat, but not a whole lot. You got to have people working. But all of that being said, you said something to me that really stuck out, and that was with regard to when business is good, you need to advertise. When business is bad, you need to advertise. Kind of expand on that.
Yeah. The saying is that when business is good, advertising is a good idea. But when business is bad, advertising is a must.
Yeah.
The point of effective advertising, let's use that word, right? The point of effective advertising is you want to reach as many people as you can with your message. You want to reach them regularly, and you also want to reach them at the appropriate time, which is part of our secret sauce to the magazine. If your business is struggling, and that's because of, we'll say the majority of the time that's because of reduced revenues, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Where does revenue come from? Revenue comes from sales, and that comes from consumers and customers, whether they be existing clientele or whether that be new clientele. And again, it depends on your particular product. If you're selling appliances, obviously the buying cycle of a consumer is going to be a little bit longer, or it's going to be an emergency need as opposed to a restaurant, right?
We're agreed.
Restaurant, the most common asked question in any household is, where are we going to eat? You know? So everything is independent of of each business, but the point of that is it's a matter of continuing to deliver your message to the masses, to the consumer. And the cool thing about this magazine is it comes out about every 5.5 to 6 weeks, so you can change your message. But unlike other magazines, it's not editorial in nature. Therefore, it's a shopping guide. And I've had advertisers tell me that their clients, a lady will walk in and she'll pull the whole magazine out of her purse. And so it's not something that's looked at and read and then set to the side. It's something that's continuing to be utilized and continue to be referenced until the new magazine comes out. It has a new, fresh look with new advertisers and the things that we do to it. So
yes, I agree.
From humble beginnings in 1989, Big Mike's has long been a place for friends and family to gather for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Big Mike, Jocelyn, and their friendly staff invite you to come in and relax in one of their spacious dining areas, or watch a game on one of the big screen TVs. Big Mike's is a place to meet old friends or make new ones. Big Mike's offers daily and nightly specials, and they specialize in serving up delicious and fresh menu items. Big Mike's offers a catering menu for large groups and has private party rooms for up to 100 guests. Whether you're planning a quick lunch or a large family dinner or just a night out with friends, Big Mike welcomes you to experience a great time. And don't forget to grab some t-shirts, caps, or koozies in the gift shop. Oh, or a bottle of Big Mike's Honey Dijon. It's delicious. Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill. We're kind of a big deal.
Release it every 6 weeks. So if you want to revamp it at some point, change your artwork a little bit, we can do that. The advantage to that, folks, is if you do 2 or 3 issues and it's just not hitting, maybe there's something with that artwork that you can change, or maybe a different offer, something like that. Those are important. That's an important key that you can change that. Once you commit, it doesn't mean you have to commit to the buy one, get one free concept or whatever. You can go to a percentage off, or Michael will work with you on all those things. And I can tell you, we've sat down in here. I run an ad in here for my podcast rental side in this Go Pages. So I'm not talking out the other side of my mouth or anything. But I believe in the magazine. That's why I invested in it. And all of that is an investment from your business. And I'll tell you that, I asked that question. What are my options if I want to, make a change of some sort? The great thing about Michael is he'll sit down and talk to you, and he's got the experience behind him. He knows,
Thank you.
He can't, obviously nobody can guarantee something's going to work 100% of the time, but what he can do is he can use his experience to walk you through that process and tell you, what he feels in his many years of experience will be the best way to go and the best way to start.
True. I mean, the other thing that I try and do, a lot of the delivery of this is based around holidays. So seasonality of different businesses changes, different things are needing to be promoted. And we try and sit down and I'll try and sit down with you and have a roadmap so that.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Don't get your tinsel in a tangle. Plato's Closet in North Charleston and West Ashley can help make your holiday easier with cash for clothes. Sell us your gently used trendy styles to earn cash on the spot. We need your denim, dressy clothes, sweaters, boots, and more. Plato's Closet buys and sells sustainable styles. Earn cash to make holiday spending less stressful. Don't get your tinsel in a tangle this year. Simply get cash for your cool clothes at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
It's not on you. I want to know, okay, this is what we need to be focusing on. So when I come to see you, I'm bringing the idea to you. I'm not just walking in the door going, what do you think we ought to do?
Yeah.
Right. So no, I want to, you know what? You know, you run a podcast studio, right?
Right.
So that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you excel at.
Yeah.
And I'll bring you the ideas, and I'm not saying I'm right all the time by any stretch of the imagination. So, I mean, we'll throw things against the wall, see what sticks. If you like it, great, let's try it. But at the same time, we'll find things that work the best. And they'll be your anchor promotion, but then you also use the other promotions to introduce new ideas and other products that you have that you want to sell more of.
Agreed.
So, depending on the business and the custom needs of each business, we kind of lay that out for you, and I take a consultative approach to where I'm bringing ideas to you. I'm not just sitting there letting you, we take everything and I disappear,
right?
And then I come back and see you when it's time to re-up. No.
And you own the company, so you're from my standpoint, I'm dealing with the owner, and in his mind, or in my mind, I know that all he wants to do is see this work. You know what I mean? He's not someone that's punching out at 5 o'clock, going home and
oh no, those days are long gone.
Yeah, so that's a distinct advantage as well, especially to working with maybe larger companies that sell advertising, that it's not the owner sitting in front of you. It's one of 4,000 reps that are going around to you, and they don't really have any skin in the game. Right.
My thing is, and just to add on to that, I live here, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm vested in this community.
Kids go to school here.
Kids go to school here. I like to support, the various and sundry things that are going on, and I like this community. I picked it for a number of reasons, but the fact that it just feels good to be here. So I want to see the people that are doing business here develop and continue to grow, and this thing continue to get bigger and bigger. And
absolutely,
the magazine growth and the success of that is a byproduct, technically.
Yeah, it really is. And how does it make you feel, Michael? Because I'm sure you've been in the position where someone's just starting out. They're a brand new business. They don't have, they were where you were when you started Go Pages, and you have literally helped them grow to the point that maybe they're a staple now, and they're just rocking and rolling in their business, and you played a part in that. And I'm sure that makes you feel like, wow, man, I really helped these people.
It does. Try and be as generous as possible, and try to help as many people as can. I'll never take credit for it.
No,
absolutely not.
No,
but it's all them. They did it all.
Yeah,
I was just basically a medium for their delivery.
Yeah, but an important one, and
I appreciate
in
that.
my opinion. Now, who would you consider your best prospects? The ones you say you would think would benefit the most from Go Pages? Are there any that are, you see that business announced through the chamber or something, and it's a company, and it's like, oh, they do so good with coupon advertising.
Having been in marketing for as long as I have, I'm driving down the road, I'm seeing yard signs, I'm seeing a truck, and my brain is constantly functioning. So I'm taking down leads and doing so. But as far as are you asking for the best referrals, I guess?
Well, that, but also the businesses that, I would think, standing on the outside looking in, that restaurants are always great for a magazine like this.
Restaurants are the driving force of this magazine.
Yeah.
Every time, what I want to do when I lay this magazine out and create it is, I want, every time you turn the page, I want you to see a food source.
Yeah.
Or a food source, a restaurant or an eatery of some fashion. So, because I want to take the consumer from the front page to the back page, or from the back page to the front page. It's about a flip of a coin, whether people start in the back or people start in the front. But
sure.
But so every time you turn the page, you're going to see an eatery of some fashion.
Yeah. Yeah. And there you go. That's another way that you plan.
Yes.
And but anybody out there that doesn't have an eatery doesn't mean you don't see tons of success in Go Pages. I mean, I'm flipping through here right now, and we got BJ Point on here, long time advertiser with you.
Absolutely.
Jeremy and those folks are great over there. They also sponsor our podcast, and we very much appreciate it. But BJ Point is a good example. I mean, it's a pawn shop. I'm sure they get coupons back daily from Go Pages magazine. You got tire companies in here. You've got coin shops in here.
Coin shops.
Chuck Marchafava, shout out to you, brother. Mm-hmm. We've got garage dorm repair places, furniture places. So I'm just flipping through here, folks, just to give you an idea. We've even got lawn care companies in here. Total Lawn Care and Landscaping. Right. Shout out to them. So there's tons of dentist office in here. Orthodontists.
AC companies.
Yeah.
Florists. I mean, it's not limited to any particular group.
No.
So to speak. I mean, there's some that it's less of a fit than others.
Sure.
And honestly, I will be the first one to tell you when I sit down with you. If I sit down with you and it's just not a fit for your needs, desires, or what you're trying to work with your company, if it's not a fit for you, I'm going to be the one to tell you.
Well, and you know what? That's integrity, because some people would just jump on, hey, that's another sale, right? And if it works, it works. If it don't, oh well. But Michael is going to be honest with you and tell you, I just don't see you fitting in there. And sometimes you just try it, and one way or the other, you're going to find out.
Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
And
the thing is, even if you quote just try it, you're creating awareness for your company. So it's still working. Whether you have a stack of coupon redemptions or offer redemptions, or whether you don't, it's still being effective, because you're still delivering your message and putting your company in front of potential customers.
That's exactly right. And there's something to be said just for name recognition.
Yes.
And when you see something over and over again, 8 times, as the literature all says, 8 times, then it kind of sticks in your mind. So if nothing else, you see that ad 8 times, you're going to remember that company. Yep. So I agree with you there. Now, branding to me is one of the most important aspects of business. Branding's important. Your branding is really nice with Go Pages. The company colors are the purple, LSU and hey, Denim High.
I just like purple.
Let's just say it. And Michael likes purple. But you got a nice fleur-de-lis up there. Which is obviously Louisiana, screams Louisiana, but you also assist your clients with branding. Y'all handle all the artwork and stuff like that for these clients that maybe don't have that, or they need assistance?
We do. We have full service marketing capability. So we've actually done logo work for product launches for people. We have designed billboards for other people. I don't place them, but we've done the artwork for them.
Sure.
We've done artwork pieces for direct mail. I mean, outside of this, we have a card that we mail with the magazine. Mm-hmm. There are people that don't want to do the volume of that, mm-hmm. So we have resources otherwise.
Sure.
We'll do that artwork as well, but. In the magazine, the majority of what you see in there is our creations based on discovery meetings and conversations that I have with clients. There are a few that do their own artwork, and that's great. We welcome that.
Sure. Very good, though. That's, a vast array of services is the point. It doesn't just stop at, okay, you want a magazine, we'll put you in the magazine and send us all the, they're they're going to hold your hand through all of that. Right. And make sure you get all your needs met. In your questionnaire, I asked you what the most difficult thing was to overcome when you started Go Pages. And you stated, getting out of my own way, stop researching and planning, and start implementing. Yep. I can't agree any more than you on that. And this is what I'll say on that subject. You can plan yourself out of business.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
I've worked around some people in my lifetime that were the best planners in the world. Every day they would sit down and they would plan their day all day long. That's all they would do, Michael.
Exactly.
And at some point you've got to stop and say, okay, I need to implement what I'm doing. And because you feel like you're busy, you're doing busy work. Oh, I'm going to go see this person and this person, and I'm going to make these calls. And then the next day I'm going to make these calls and these calls. And you never actually get out there and do it. Right. So I agree with you 100% on that. We can get in our own way, and we can get stuck in that planning stage to the point that it affects us actually implementing anything that we're planning.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting your heart and soul into something, and you want it to work. So naturally, to me, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to plan out scenario A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. It's not going to start with A, B, and C, right?
Right.
If this happens,
yeah.
Or if this happens, or if this happens. Not to me. I mean, the product launch implementation and getting the ideas together and getting things established. But then you always have the what ifs.
Yes.
And I hate playing what ifs.
Yeah.
But, as they say, you prepare for the worst and plan for the best. So you want to, I guess that's a problem that I have, is I want to, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
If this or this. And I found out that, you know what? You can't plan for everything. It's not always, what is it, the best laid plans of mice and men, so to speak. You can't prepare for everything. And having spent the time that I did in the businesses that I did, and for lack of a better word, the successes that I had, I thought I knew. Yeah. Really, I thought I knew. Hey, I got this, right? Mm-hmm. I learn every day. Every single day, whether it be a scenario that occurs directly impacting me or one of my customers that I'm going to see, and they're encountering a situation that is foreign to me entirely. I'm like, okay, well, how are you handling that? Just in case, put that in your backpack just in case it comes. So
I totally get that. 100%. I do that. I sit down and do this podcast, and I always tell people I almost feel selfish because I want to sit down and do it because I want to learn from these people. And look, every single day and every single podcast that I do, a business owner will say something, and I'm like, wow, that's genius. And I'll put that back there. And I'm an information seeker. I always have been. And I genuinely am interested in these people. And
I like to call it lifelong learning.
Yes. Yeah, man. You never stop learning, and you're never so good that you can't learn. And
if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's right. Or you're by yourself, one of the two.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously referrals and word of mouth would be your best form of advertising, even for the advertising guy, as well as networking. You're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. You're a fellow graduate of Leadership Livingston. What class were you?
Second class.
So, wow. Yeah. You go back a little ways.
Yeah, it was 14, I guess it was. I guess the first one had the mayors, and I think Jason Hard was in that one.
Yeah.
A few other people, to launch it. And then I got in the second one, and I will tell you that was impressive.
Yeah.
And the people that I met that were in that class with me, still.
Yeah.
To this day, I mean, there's a connection there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was the 2020, the COVID class, as we call it. We got messed over in our class with going to a lot of the fun things y'all went and did, but we were virtual a lot of the time. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. The relationships I made, I would have made no other way.
Exactly.
And I learned at the end that leading is all about giving back, and that was something I did not know, and surprised me and made me a better person coming out of it than I was going into it.
It gives you the reality of while we think the thing that I picked up a lot of is why we think what's best for someone else until you talk to them and find out what they want and what they think is best for them. You can't make that assumption. And that was something that really came out of that, especially with some of the scenarios that we went through. We can't really expand on what those are. But,
right. But I agree 100% with you. And now, how important would you say networking has been to your business overall? Just forming relationships with business owners that then go out and say, hey, you need to go see Michael at Go Pages. Let me hook you up.
Networking is, regardless of what you do, is important.
Agree.
I was always taught that the minute you step out your door in the morning, you're selling.
Yeah.
So you need to be networking. You need to be in reality, what's wrong with meeting as many people as you can meet, right. and getting to know them? Because while you may not need, and I hate to say this as a need perspective, but you may, they're good people and they're part of the community and they're part of the fabric of this community and what makes it good.
Yeah.
And so, you meet people and you may be able to directly help them, but if you can't directly help them, you may know someone
that's exactly right.
So,
yes,
it's not always a self-centered situation at all. I have clients to this day. I try, again, take a consultative approach to this. And I have clients that will call me and say, hey, look, I need swag.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not a swag guy, but
I'm not a swag
guy.
But I know a guy.
That's right.
Hey, I'm thinking about doing this digital stuff, this podcast stuff. I know a guy.
That's it.
So, and I'm not trying to say I know everything by any stretch of imagination, but if I can't provide something for you through my networking and through the people that I've met over the years.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
I can say, hey, look, I know somebody that I trust that I've gotten to know well that will take care of you.
That's right.
And, that's a two-way street. Obviously, I get it. But I like, again, going to the assist and helping other people develop things.
100%. Now, let me ask you this. What would you consider to be the biggest advantages of using Go Pages versus some other forms of advertising, other than podcasting, of course?
How much time do we have?
Well, I covered the first with just the fact that you're getting those coupons back.
Right.
I mean,
the thing. Most advertising mediums have their distinct advantage. Not all of them, but most of them. I'm not going to sit here and say it's better than this because they're better than this because it's better than this because it's each individual opportunity that you're presented with has a benefit, but does that benefit fit you, right?
Yeah.
Does the person that you're talking to, are they listening to what you're having to say? Is the medium going to reach the maximum amount of people that it can reach?
Yeah.
Is it going to be something that there's a relative amount of frequency? In other words, are they seeing it regularly?
Right.
Now, the thing about Go Pages is because people keep coming back to it for the restaurants.
Yeah.
Okay. They may not be looking for a prosthetic leg, but there's an ad in there just under a restaurant. So they're getting the visibility because of the shelf life of the magazine.
Yeah.
Tiffany Seacard with Home Key Mortgage combines the experience and knowledge you need to make your mortgage loan a smooth, stress-free process. Reach out to Tiffany for more information on the vast mortgage programs available in the Livingston Parish area. Tiffany Seacard of Home Key Mortgage, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
The timing, you want to deliver your message to people when they're in a certain frame of mind. If you're delivering it to them in when they're thinking about an entertainment situation, it's different than if you're delivering it to them when they're thinking about shopping.
Agreed.
So all of that is part of the secret sauce to what we do. Having spent the time in Yellow Pages and the other marketing fields out there, I try and we tweaked to make this the best it can be. It can be a standalone advertising program all on its own and be effective for you. It can be an addition to what you're currently doing. So, again, I'm not going to say bad things about anybody or any other form. There are a multitude of advantages, and I would love the opportunity to sit down and talk to people about that because it's a one-on-one conversation. It's a private conversation.
Absolutely.
And it's not not that I'm going to say anything that I wouldn't say in front of everybody else.
Right.
But I'm just saying it's a one-on-one thing.
There you go. So let Michael sit down with you, kind of cover a little bit more of that with you. But I will say that I like trackable advertising, and you can track it. There's no doubt. You can track it much better, or aspects of it. So anyway, that's just my opinion.
You'll have people that are going to bring in the offers, and that's great, and that's a measurable medium for you. You're going to have people that are going to come in and they meant to bring it,
right,
and they forgot it.
Yeah.
You're going to have people that have seen the ad a couple of times and they didn't need it at that point in time, but then their washing machine breaks.
Yeah.
Right. So, but they remember because of the impressions that you've made upon them in your exposures. The analogy that I use a lot of times is, you're sitting down, you watch the Super Bowl, right? And Budweiser spends how many millions? 30 million ish, or more per half on their ads, right? So you see the Clydesdale ad or the puppy ad or whichever one they happen to be doing at the time. Are you going to get up right then and go run to the grocery store and get you a case of Budweiser, a 12-pack or whatever? No, you're not going to do that. But you're going to remember it because it left an impression upon you.
Yes.
Right? So that's how this works too. It's not always just about the volume of redemptions that you're getting or people are bringing coupons in. So I just wanted to.
No, it's a great point. Great point. Now, in your questionnaire, I love this. In your questionnaire, I asked you to define a leader. And you said a leader inspires others through his or her own actions. And as if that wasn't enough.
His or her actions, not inactions.
His or her actions, that's right. And as if that was not enough, you got fancy and quoted Sun Tzu.
Correct.
And you said, a leader leads by example, not force. Hard to argue with the author of The Art of War.
Absolutely.
It is actually a great quote. I got tickled because I know that quote.
There's actually, I think it's a chapter or section in there in the book about leadership. And it's amazing how something that was written so long ago still applies.
Oh, it's a great
And I'm not
book.
saying what we're doing is war.
Right.
But it's psychology.
Boom. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly right. And it's a great book. I recommend it to anyone in business for sure. How important a role does social media play in your business?
I wish they quit changing the algorithms.
Yeah. They're about to change it again.
They are. I think it's August. I think they're talking about social media I was never going to have Facebook personally, ever.
Yeah.
I was just going to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, if I wanted to talk to somebody, I was going to pick up the phone, call them. I was going to go see them, knock on the door, and that kind of thing. And then, with the magazine, it has its own Facebook page. So I had to have an Anchor account, which was mine. And I remember it was August 13th, 2013 was the first day the magazine started being delivered. And all of a sudden my phone just started ping, 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 ping. I had no idea what it was. Yeah. And I started looking and it was likes. And I remember sitting there. until way too late that night, just watching them come. And I'm so impressed at the local following that has occurred. I've got one guy in Europe. I don't know where or how he got it. Maybe he was traveling through and saw it and liked it. That's great. But, it's a local following, which fits directly in with the magazine. Yes. And,
which is huge.
Which is huge. And the interactions that I see. I posted something yesterday, and it's been picked up and shared. I think it was 44 times as of this morning.
Wow.
So,
that's amazing.
It doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
But it's nice when it does. And the more that the consumers can be engaged in it, the better off it is for the business owners. And the ads are all under photos, and you can present them, just download the ad on your phone.
Absolutely.
And present it to, your restaurant or whatever. And it's good that way too. So, but it's, social media is here to stay. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
No doubt about that. Although we've seen over the last couple of years, especially last year, people got tired of it, kind of backed off a little bit. But
election years,
and
they either love it or hate it during that time.
It's interesting,
depending on who you're voting for.
It's interesting. Election years are typically a challenge when it comes to advertising.
Yeah,
because people don't have an answer. There's an unknown there staring them in the face. Right, come November, right, or it's typically for the presidential elections, and they tend to. And you can look at the consumer confidence numbers and so forth, and you can see a pullback just ever so slightly.
That's interesting.
But what's really cool about that is once the answer is given, whether you are pro or for the answer, it's like there's this pent up need to spend.
Yeah.
And it's coming.
Yeah.
So, it's like, okay, we know it's coming, and it's coming. And the same thing's happening with COVID.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you 100% on that. Now, you got a promo going on right now we want to talk about.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your back to school special.
Okay. Well, they did push back to school back a week this year, which is great for everybody. But what we're going to do for between now and the end of July, my magazine for July 7th, which is the next drop, is full. But I'm looking at an expansion for the next one, for the one that's going to be in late August. So between now and
July 31st,
between now and July 31st, if we when we sit down, if I have an opportunity to sit down with you and we come to an arrangement on your advertising, I'll do if you agree to appear in 6 editions, I will give you the 7th one free. Now that's going to carry you through. That's going to carry you through the month of April into May on advertising.
There you go.
Through this medium.
Perfect. So look for that. That's a great deal, indeed. And us as business owners appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It gets you through the holidays, Christmas, and it's already set. You don't have to worry about it, and it's done for you.
Excellent. So I can't impress enough to folks to check out Go Pages. I am, of course, our Envision podcast studio rental side of what we do at Local Leaders, the podcast. We're in that magazine, so check that out, and then come in here and start a podcast with
Absolutely.
me. Give me that coupon back. We'd love to do that. We got some good deals in that magazine for you. Fun facts. We did some fun facts. This is my favorite part of the show because you kind of learn a little bit about somebody on the other side away from their business. So I asked you a few questions, and I'm going to cover your answers to those. I asked you if you ever purchased a yacht, what would you name it? And this was a great name. You said Seize the Day, but it was spelled S-E-A-S.
Correct.
Love that. That's awesome. Your dream job when you were 12, Major League Baseball player.
Absolutely.
What happened? Couldn't hit enough home runs?
No, that wasn't the issue at all. Actually, I played, into high school. Was looking at a number of options after high school, and ended up having 2 scopes and a lateral release.
Oh yeah,
and that pretty much toasted that. So.
Yeah, I always tell people mine was a football player, and I never grew after the age of like 17 as far as height. And I need to be about 6'3" for my position. Yeah. So There went that. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? You said clone yourself. You might could do that now, Michael. They got some pretty interesting science going on these days.
Yeah,
be 2 Go pages running around.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's wish.
Yeah,
to be able to do that. For
that
sure
would be cool. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? You said the Holy Land,
absolutely,
Jerusalem.
Yep.
And I pronounced it right. I used to say Jerusalem.
Now Jerusalem.
Yeah.
My mom went a couple times and told me, what she experienced when she was there. And it would be, given my faith, I think that would be the ultimate trip.
I think it would be too. I wish I could say as a parting gift, we have a trip to Jerusalem.
That would be fantastic.
But we do not. So, thanks for coming on today, man. I enjoyed it. Love talking to you about business and especially your business. For all those people that'll watch this and want more information, shout out your Facebook page.
It is Go Pages, Denham Springs, Watson, and Walker.
There you go. So give them a like on there. And do you have a website?
Absolutely. www.gopageslouisiana.com. I tried to make it as long as possible. But you can actually, on the website, it talks about, there's actually a digital version of the magazine in the event you lose one. You can go in there and see it and flip through page by page.
Awesome.
There's a lot of other information on there as well.
Well, and what I'll do is I'll link all of that to the description of this video.
Absolutely.
And so that'll make it easy for folks. They ain't got to type all that out. And I'll also put I'll put your ad up that you're running right now, and it'll just pop up while we're talking like magic. I want to thank everyone out there for viewing and listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share it on all our social media platforms as we strive to shine a spotlight on all local businesses, nonprofits, and business leaders all over the Livingston Parish and surrounding areas. I want to mention Mighty Moms. Speaking of nonprofits, Michael, they are doing a business sponsorship for 2021 and 2022. They're getting ready for the Full Tummy Project. For $1,000 a week, your business will get social media recognition for your week, and you will have your business logo and link to the website under the tab for business sponsors on the Mighty Moms website. If you can commit before August 1st, they're even going to put your business's logo on some T-shirts that the teachers all wear throughout the Livingston Parish community during the week of September 6th. Mighty Moms has given over $1 million of food to children of Livingston Parish. These are hungry children, right? So since they started in 2010, and they're 100% private funded, they don't have public funds. So if you're interested in doing that, I'll put their link also in the description of this video. You can click and shoot them a message on their Facebook, and they'll get back with you and give you further information. But we like to mention Mighty Moms when we can. What a great charity. No child should ever be hungry.
Nope.
You're hungry, come to my house. I'll feed you.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about it.
Make
but
extra pot of rice. We got it.
Support these Mighty Moms. They're good people. So I want to shout that out and definitely mention that. And finally, if I can get to my other paper here, I want to thank all our sponsors, including Tricia Johnston Realtor, BJ Pawn, Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill, Sporting Center, Black Sheep Creative, SR Enterprise Painting, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance. We could not do any of this without all of you. And until next time, I am Jim Chapman, reminding you to love your community, support local business like Go Pages, and keep leading. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Black Sheep Creative understands the importance of digital marketing and your return on your investment. It's their aim to provide professional web and graphic design services at a price point that smaller businesses and startups can afford. Get in touch with them on the web at blacksheepcreative.com.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.